because when they aren't there, it's like that part of you who you could be when you were with them or having that thing, you're not that anymore. It's like that thing, or that person or that place held in place what you could be, what you were, what you could feel about yourself. Yeah, more than anything else, what you could feel and believe about yourself. And it felt great. And it felt like you were loved, or you had something that you don't have when that isn't there. So that's why after the initial stages of, the loss and the shock, and really just adjusting to that reality, which is hard. It's existential hard to adjust to that reality, because you don't, all that time that you had that thing or were with that person, you were that. And now suddenly your identity is stripped away of something that was really great, isn't there anymore, that you don't get to be. And I know this sounds almost dismissive to grief in a way, because it's like saying, well, then that person or that thing didn't really bring me value intrinsically on their own, of their own value. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm just looking at another part of the equation. That's definitely freaking valid. Like I'll just use a small example that's gonna seem really meaningless to probably everybody. I mean, I've experienced my share of grief, trust me. But I'm gonna use this a little more less intense analogy. So I had this pair of gloves, and they meant a lot to me, and they meant a lot of things. And I'm probably gonna find them. But I recognized what I don't feel like I have without them. And gloves are like nothing compared to a person, compared to a breakup, compared to a person dying, compared to a person not wanting you in their life anymore. So please don't, think I'm dismissing that at all. At all. I'm just not going heavy with my example, so it's easy to understand. Well, maybe it's not so easy to understand. Maybe it's harder to understand with a stupid example. To me, it's not stupid. But anyway, that, I just was examining why it was bothering me so much. And I noticed that, well, I'm asking myself, you can ask yourself, well, what is, after you've gone through the first shock part, don't even try this in the beginning stages. Like, just forget it. That's just going to make you more frustrated. But after you've accepted the reality to some degree, your body isn't suffering so bad. You can sleep, you can eat, that kind of thing. And then you can ask yourself these kind of questions. Then it'll be useful. Save this for later if you need to. And that is, what do I feel like I can't be anymore? What does it feel like I am not anymore? What am I telling myself that I'm not anymore? So let's say it was a person, right? Let's say it was a person that either they're alive, but they don't want you in their life, or it was a heartbreak in one way or another. And you can ask yourself, without that person in my life, we want to know what they stand for in your inner being, okay? Because in your inner being, the way it works is, when it really feels like you already are that, then the physical reality will match that again. So losing things and people is kind of a way of our higher self course correcting, so that we can become what that thing made us feel we were, and that thing that we're not anymore when we don't have them. Does that make sense? And I know it sounds really harsh, and I would really actually hate to hear this if I had just been in a breakup, but maybe 3 months down the road or a year, this will be useful. Because in the beginning it's just like, fuck yeah. And I get that, trust me. But for the later phases of the heartbreak, it's like with that person, I could tell myself, yes, I'll use a really intense one with my mom. But that person, I could tell myself I was worthy. When that person was alive, what they held in place for me was me being worthy. And with them dead, now I'm not. It's like, well, what are they holding in place that your inner being needs the world to be, to manifest for you, in order for you to tell yourself you're that? Because, you know, we get these lessons all throughout our whole life for us to, and I even hate saying this, but because it sounds harsh, but for us to like re-own that part of ourself. Because the reality is, which fucked up, is that it's gone, that they're not there, that the thing isn't there, that I don't have the thing anymore. And the good part of the relief in that is that there's nothing I could do about it. You know, you don't have to keep beating yourself up like, oh, what could I do about it? I mean, maybe you can say, well, I couldn't have done this, I couldn't have done that, I maybe should have done this and that. Fine, but the truth is, the way reality sits right now isn't anything you can change now. And so you can give yourself a break in the sense that, well, fuck it, you know? The universe is doing this. This is what's happening right now. I can't physically manipulate it to change it. So in a way that can give you some relief, you know, in that it's not, you don't have to keep trying. You don't have to beat yourself up for it.